Hi everyone, this is Sunny with Creative Therapy, and I've got another design team project for Country Craft Creations. This one, and excuse my wiggling, I'm holding the camera here. This is an easel. It's got frames front and back. Alright, so I thought this would be nice sitting on a mantle, and you could put, picture of the kids, picture of the family, picture of the grandkids, picture of your puppy, whatever you want there on the front. I just put the 4x6 cut-aparts in there for demo purposes, but it will fit 4x6 photos. It has just a little decorative element on the top to jazz it up, but it's also a flip book. Alright, it's magnetized. I'm trying to do this left-handed. And it just opens up like so, and it has several, you can put as many pages, almost as many pages as you want inside. Alright, so that's what this tutorial is for, and each of the pages is also a pocket page, so you can put 4x6 photo mats. I haven't mapped both sides of them, but then, so each page can hold a 4x6 on the front, a 4x6 on the back, and then a mat for one or two more 4x6s inside the page. How cool is that? It's super simple. It's got the binder, the ring binder system. I use Tim Holtz. It is super simple, super fun, and there we go. There's the bumblebee. Be yourself. And we got a bee flying around there. Anyway, so that's what this tutorial is for. Let's get started and make your very own easel frame flip book album thingamabob. All right, and here we go. Hello, and welcome back to Creative Therapy. This is Sunny. Haven't seen y'all for a while. I think I finally resolved the issue I was having. I'm hoping I knocking things around. I'm hoping I resolved the issue of the roar in the camera. There seemed to be an issue with sound, and I think it actually had to do with a loose piece of plastic on the SD card. Either that or the mount. Anyway, I think I have it resolved. Haven't seen you all for quite a while. Welcome back, or maybe I should welcome me back. I don't know. I've been MIA. So anyway, today we're going to make my final project with the Nature Sketchbook, and this is going to be an easel flip album thingamabob. So right now, all I've really done is cut the chipboard, but I thought I would go ahead and share what you need to cut. So there's quite a bit of chipboard in this one. Okay, you're going to need 2 pieces cut at 6x8. All right, that's your front and back. We're going to need 1 piece cut at 2x6. Okay, that's going to be your spine at the top. I know that sounds a little funny, but I think by the time I put the whole video together, I will have already shown you the finished product by the time you're seeing this, so it'll make sense. All right, so then we need a 1.5x6. Hope you can see that. And the base, which is 5x6. All right, then we're also going to need 2 pieces cut at 5x7, and excuse my scribbles on here, but I was calculating, and on these 2, these are frames. These are frames that are going to mount to the front and the back of our easel flip book. Okay, so cut these 5x7, and then I would like for you to go in and mark all 4 sides 5/8 of an inch in. Draw your lines 5/8 of an inch in from the outside, And then we're going to remove the center section to create frames. All right, so I used to lay my ruler down and cut this way, but inevitably I would slip and mess up my line. And since I was relying on that ruler, I got a little sloppy. So what I actually think I like to do instead is first go through and follow that line very lightly and score. Once I've got that track for my blade, I can just go in and then start applying more and more pressure until I get all the way through. A lot of people seem to be intimidated by the X-Acto blade, and in all honesty, I can't remember. It's been so long since it's been my go-to tool that I don't really remember when I first started using it. I might have been intimidated with it myself. I honestly can't remember, but once I used it a couple of times, it's just my preference at this point. I love my X-Acto blade. I think I use my X-Acto knife in just about every darn project, don't I? So, anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I shouldn't talk while I do this because you know I'll mess it up. But I wanted to complete it on camera so I could show you the next little step. And what I do is I use this piece in the center to then cut some 1/2-inch strips, because that's what I'm going to pop this frame up with, and it's going to be my guide for what goes inside the frame. And I wanted to kind of show you what in the world I meant by that. It's not difficult, it's just so much easier for me to show things than to try and explain them, because I'm not the best with words. For somebody that talks so damn much, you think I'd be better with my words. But when I was coming up, it wasn't a catchphrase to say, use your words. So maybe that's why I never learned. Oh, now we know why they tell the kids, use your words. Sounds really dorky, but there's a reason for it. Okay, so now we've got the center out, and you can see I've always got to go back and touch up where it didn't quite go all the way through in the corner. Just so you know, if you do screw up, let's say you're going along your line and you come off a little bit, if you're doing that first score line and it's nice and thin, you'll end up with a piece like this, which is no big deal, and you can just, you know, get rid of it like so. And I like to come in with my little sandpaper and smooth. Yeah, when I first started scrapbooking, I didn't really know how to distress. I was learning everything on YouTube, and they would be distressing this and distressing that, and I didn't have that little tool, and I didn't know what to buy. And so I bought this sandpaper block. And now I'm kind of glad I did, because you can use it to distress the edges of your paper. You can also use it to smooth the fuzzies from when your blade really needs to be replaced, you know, and you cut your paper and you get that little fuzzy bit. So this is now dual purpose. It's my distress tool, and it's also my smoothing tool. 2 in 1, get the job done, yada yada, blah blah blah. Okay. So there's our frame, and a lot of this will smooth itself out because, you know, we're wrapping it with paper. We're going to wrap that sucker. Alright, so there you go. Alright, now I have a hard time cutting like a 1/2 inch of something, because, you know, on our paper trim, well, on some of them, like the little Fiskars, I think it's actually marked, and you can do that without much difficulty. But when it comes to chipboard and you need something heavy duty, you know, there is no 1/2 inch mark. So what I'm going to do is, I happen to know that this cutout bit measures 3 3/4. So I'm just going to go down to 3 1/4, because that means I'm cutting a 1/2 inch strip. And then I'm going to go down to 2 3/4. And that means I'm cutting another 1/2 inch strip. And then I'm finally going to go down to 2 1/4. And there's my third 1/2 inch strip. So I've got everything I need out of there. Now, out of those 3, I need one of them to just be 5 inches long. So I'm going to take one, cut it down to 5. All right, the reason for all of that is so that on the back side of our frame, we're going to take these and we're going to put them right up to the edge. Let's start with the 5-inch one. It goes down at the bottom. All right, and you're just going to put them flush with the edges. All right, and then you're going to lay that one on top and flush with the edge on the side, or maybe in the center. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. And then put that one. And what that's going to do is going to pop it up for us and allow our photo a little ledge to sit on, or a 4x6 cutout or whatever. But this is cut so that a 4x6 will go in there, and then the opening is a 1/4 inch smaller. You know, so it's going to come in 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. And so 4x6 should fit in there. That's the plan. I haven't put it together yet. Sometimes I have this wonderful plan and I go to put it together and then I find out the plan needs adjusting. All right, so there are our 2 frames and our supports for the back side, whatever you want to call them. Those 2 frames and their supports can go to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap this one, and I think that's going to be the hardest part of the whole project. And it's not going to be hard, it's just that it's a long wrap. It's a very long wrap, because what we're going to do is it's going to go front, spine, back, base, flap. All right, so you can see it's going to be a long wrap. So I'm going to go cut my cardstock for our wrap. You could always do this with structure strips if you'd prefer. All right, so you can just cut you some structure strips that are like 1 inch. But I want to wrap the whole thing like I would a regular cover, because then I want to mount my pattern paper on top of it. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back with those measurements and everything for you. All right. All right, so I've cut the papers now, and we're going to start the process of wrapping all of our covers. I'm just reaching for some score tape here, because before I start wrapping, oh my goodness, there's my rolly cart. Sorry, it was stuck. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these end to end. And oh, by the way, sorry, we've got 7x12 times 2. All right, so 2 at 7x12 and 1 at 7x2. This is a 7x2 inch piece. We're going to have to piece it in the center to get 2 of them, and I'm deciding if I want the shinier side up. Seem to be just a slightly different texture. Let's see. Decisions. Oh, what the heck, let's put it to the outside. All right. And I didn't have any of the black, that artisan paper, that yummy stuff that Miss Tammy has at Country Craft Creation, so I'm using a little bit inferior paper here. I do apologize for that. It is a little bit lighter in weight, so I'm going to do some reinforcements on where my bins are that you probably won't need to do if you're using the boy, I just can't turn that thing the right way. I can't speak and do anything at the same time. Anyway, if you're using that nice stuff that they have over at Country Craft Creations, you're not going to, I'm going to do a tape reinforcement that you probably won't need if you're using a better quality of paper. So just an FYI, and I'm not talking about this piece I'm doing right now. This is just to put it together. I'll tell you what I mean when I'm either going to use a duct tape or an electrical tape. Or Tyvek works really well to reinforce anywhere that your covers are going to bend. And now I don't know what I did with my ruler. Can you believe that? Oh, there it is. It's see-through, so I can't see it half the time. I like the edge of that Tim Holtz better. Okay. Now what I did was I buttoned my pieces up next to each other. You can do an overlap if you'd like. I think most people probably do an overlap when they piece. I just don't like that ridge. So the advantage to the overlap is that you don't have a gap. You see how I have a slight gap right there? Since it's black, I feel like I can just color that in. So if you butt them, you run the risk of having that slight little gap. If you overlap them, you have a ridge. So the choice is yours when you have to piece. So that's what you get with that. All right, so now I'm going to start, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and go tape all my pieces off camera so you don't have to watch that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to apply my score tape to my chipboard and not make you, watch that whole process. So let me get all of these taped. You can also use your art glitter glue here. You can use score tape. You can use sheets of score tape. You can do a combination of those, which is what I'm probably going to end up doing. I like the score tape because it's quick and easy. However, it's very costly. So, this one has quite a bit, so I'm just going to do a combo, and I'll be back. All right, I am applying. Here, let me zoom in just a little bit here. Well, maybe, maybe not. There we go. All right. Try and get everything straight and situated for you there. Okay. Have our front piece down, and we've got a 1/2 inch top and bottom, so I put it about a 1/2 inch from the edge. All right. A 1/2 inch wrap is going to be fine on this one. Next piece is going to be the spine, and that is your 2 inch wide by 6 inch. Okay. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to leave a gap that's at least the width of your chipboard. So I just usually eyeball it, and I try and make it at least 1/8 of an inch and no more than 1/4 of an inch. And it really has to do with how thick your cardstock is. What you're doing is you're giving that cardstock room to make the corner, okay, without tearing. If you get them too close together, you don't have enough room to make the corner, and then you can actually end up with some cracking. Of course, again, that goes back to the quality of your paper as well. Don't forget to take the back off of your score tape that you've used to piece your cover paper. And you want to try and keep a straight line top and bottom so that you don't run off of the cardstock. You want to keep a nice straight, you want to keep these going. You don't want them going downhill, going uphill. Just keep that as straight as you can. And don't forget about your gap again. Okay. Right about there. And keeping it straight with the top and bottom about there. And as always, burnish, burnish, burnish. Always gotta burnish. Next piece is going to be your base. All right. So again with the glue and the score tape, a little bit of both, just because I'm a lazy girl. All right. All right, here we go. And a gap about that big. And we'll burnish, burnish, burnish a little more here in a minute. And I don't even, maybe just a teeny bit of glue. What do you think? And better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I don't pay a lot of attention to what ex-husbands have told me, but that's one of the things that was definitely a good one from my ex-husband. So, and you're actually going to have a little bit more than a 1/2 inch probably left over by the time you get to the end here to wrap. No harm, no foul. All right, so go burnish the heck out of that. Burnish, burnish, burnish. And like I said, I did end up with a little bit of a gap right there. But you know what? That's what markers are for, right? So let's see. Let's just go ahead and... Oh, can't even get down in there. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Look at that. How that just kind of disappears. And you know, you're going to wallpaper over it anyway. So, yeah. Alright, just showing you there's a fix for every darn thing. Every mistake I can make, which I think I've made every one of them, yeah, there's a fix for it. Don't sweat it. Alright, so there's that. And now, and most of you have probably wrapped covers before or seen them wrapped, so I hate to go over every single thing every single time. However, you know what? There's always that person that's doing one for the first time, so I, you know, kind of like to show all the steps involved. Now, this little tool, and I've explained it before, it's almost like a quilting square, and what it does is it just gives you your 45-degree angle. So if you don't have one of these, no big deal. You can eyeball that. But what you want to do is you want to leave enough paper extending from this tiny little tip to come up and wrap that tip so you don't have a bit of cardboard sticking out. Because, well, of course there's always a fix for that too, but if you can prevent it, it's easier than fixing it, right? Alright, and I've lost the cap for my X-Acto blade, and that's just, well... that's just danger right there, isn't it? Alright, so that is done. I am going to go ahead and just put down some score tape all the way around. And I think, see, typically I leave a little bit wider bit for wrapping, but I just didn't feel it was necessary with this project. So, oh shoot. I don't know if I want my score tape up next. I usually put score tape right up here and then right along the edge. But in this case, I don't want to use that much score tape. There's really not that much room. If I had me some 3/8 of an inch, that would have been best, but I don't. And the 1/2 inch is a little too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my score tape and then I'm going to run glue around the outside. That's what we're going to do. You could do it the other way too, and actually that's what I was going to do. I was going to put the score tape all the way to the edge and then put my glue up in the... but you know, when I went to do it, my hands didn't do that. Woo! I'm telling you, I can't talk and think at the same time. Now, here's what I meant about tape reinforcement. Let me see if I can find, excuse my arm or boob or hair or whatever you're having to look at right now. Sorry about it. Whatever it was, I know something was under that camera. Probably wasn't pretty, but whatever. Now, this is my reinforcement. Since my paper's a little thin, let's go pull up the score tape first. I'm going to reinforce those bends right here, just so this paper doesn't wear over time because it's not the best paper. See, there's even a fix for inferior quality. Alright, of course it'd be easier just to get the right stuff to begin with, but it didn't happen that way this time. Okay. So now, everywhere there's a gap, or a seam, or whatever you want to call that, I'm gonna go, and I probably should have done this before I put down the cardboard because I want it really down in there. Ow. Hit my hand on some rulers. I'll live. Don't worry about me too much there. Oh, shit. See, I cannot do my job and talk about it at the same darn time. Jeez Louise. Uh-oh, now that's not going to stick. We'll be having some glue down there, that's for sure. All right, let's cut this first so I can fold it because I really kind of want it down in that crack. So I'm going to fold it together and lay it down in that crack. Look at that, would ya? That worked. I like that. And then just fold it back. Bone folder saves the day. How nice is that? Burnish, burnish, burnish. Should have done that in the first place, Miss Sunny. It's all right. At least I figured it out eventually. Do it again. So get your, if you're using electrical tape, which I am, fold it in half. The other thing to do, and I've done this a gazillion times, is use the duct tape. The reason I didn't do that this time is because there's so many seams. I didn't want to have to measure out where, you know, where it needed to be. Because what you do is you put your duct tape down first before you put your chipboards on. And it actually does better that way than trying to fit it down in the crack. But like I said, I didn't want to have to measure all that out and figure where everyone needed to be. So I just put my chipboard down first, and now I'm filling in. So maybe I just didn't think that out all the way, but it's going all right for me, so I'm not too unhappy about that. Burnish, 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 and see, now we've got nice reinforcement. This first one isn't as nice. I'm wondering if maybe I should, is that going to remove too much? No, well, because I want that down in there. Okay, that's not too bad. And let's just cut that messed up score tape off of there. Are y'all laughing at me? I hope so. Oh, if I can't be informative, the least I can do is be entertaining. Jeez. Okay. Just not getting too bothered by things, or trying not to be too bothered by things when they don't go the way I want them to. I have issues with stress and anxiety, so I am letting go of the little things whenever I can. So I'm just not bothered, not fussed about it. Get down in there. All right. There's my reinforcement. It was probably, what, 25 cents worth of electrical tape. I think electrical tape is a wonderful thing to have on hand when you craft. I'm learning that it has many, many uses for me. Or maybe it's just the way I do things. But anyway, it works for me. Alright, put everything back where it goes so I know where to find it. Now, let's wrap this puppy. Let's make sure we have plenty of glue in here where we had our little experiment. We're not even going to call it a mishap. It was just an experiment. Okay, lay down glue all the way around so I don't have to stop and apply it. And just work quick enough that hopefully it doesn't dry out. If a little bit of it gets dry, we can reapply. Okay, there it is. So kind of sort of start in the center. Oh, let's warm up those fibers. It's not wanting to bend real easy. Sometimes you got to talk to it just a little bit. There we go. Come on, baby, you can do it. The good thing about having that tape up close is when you go to fold like this, it grabs that little edge of the chipboard, and it helps you out just a little bit, kind of holds it in place, because I actually like to kind of start in the center. There it is. Work my way out. There we go. Burnish, burnish, burnish. And, you know, earlier I said this is probably the most difficult part. The longer the line is when you're wrapping a cover, just a little awkward. I wouldn't say difficult. I'd say awkward is a better word. Okay. All right. Get all this stuck down with our glue. That stuff grabs nice and quick, so notice nothing's popping up. Even though I don't have tape on the very edge, it's doing a good job for me. That glitter glue just catches and does what we want it to. Now, on your corners, go ahead and tuck you a dab of glue in that little tunnel. Get in the tunnel. That gap's a little, I didn't cut that one quite close enough, but it'll work. It'll work, it'll work. So now you want to tuck that little corner in before you fold up your next side. Just dab of glue here and here. And I didn't get my glue thick enough on that edge, and it's starting to dry up on me. So let's go ahead and do this other long edge. Okay, there we go. All right, sneaker bone folder underneath. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yes! Stick her down, stick her down. This is going to be, I think this is going to be such a cute one. I'm hoping so. Now see, y'all have the benefit because I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to put the final product first before the instructions. So see, by the time you're watching this, you'll have an advantage over me because I haven't seen the finished product yet and you have. The miracle of technology. We can rearrange the timeline in life. So, if you've watched this far, then it must have turned out cute, or you wouldn't be bothering, right? Haha. Okay. How's that for some logic? Alright, that's good. That's good. Oh, alright, make sure that's down. Alright, let's go to our ends. Reapply some glue because it did dry. I put a real thin bead, so. Oh, poo, and I didn't put my pin in it. There it goes. I hope y'all can see this. I hope I'm not off camera. I can't see the screen. It's up over my head. So I really don't know what's in the shot exactly. So, I'm doing the best I can to make sure y'all can see what I'm doing and what I'm rambling on about. Okay. Alright, tuck your corners in now before you go to folding. Alright, tucked in. I just try and stay in the center here. Hopefully you're seeing what's going on. I'm wondering, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sneak in a couple of magnets if I can find. Oh shoot, I don't know where I put my big ones. I had some bigger magnets that I wanted to use, and who knows where I put them. I don't really want to use these little ones. Alright, we're going to do the magnets later then, because I don't remember. Oh, there they are. Whew. I knew I stuck them to something metal, just didn't remember what. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and put these down. You can put them down after you fold this in. They'll get covered with the whatever we whatever designer paper we put in there. But I just thought, go ahead and put them down. Okay. Wait a minute, is that the right side? I better not do that because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know which side I want them on. No, I want them on the other side. Okay, so disregard that. Just disregard that. Never you mind, I was mistaken. I want them on the other side of the chipboard, so. Alright. Just wipe that glue off of there. We'll get to those puppies in a minute. Alright, so there you have it. Now all that's left to do is to go back, make sure everything's pushed down in our creases, make sure everything is burnished very well. It looks like I need to slip a little glue under here. Get this edge down. Well, maybe. There it goes. Okay. All right. We are wrapped for the most part. I'm just finding little spots where it doesn't seem to have as good of adhesion as I want. Of course, this will all be covered, you know, with some designer paper. And that's another reason it was good to put the black down, because now we can just cut right over top. We don't have to hide those. Of course, it would be shinier. I don't know if that's what I'll end up doing, but I think it may give us an option. All right, so that flap goes in. Here is our easel. It's going to go just like that. All right, so we've got a front cover and a back cover. All right. Too stinking easy. All right, I think the next thing, make sure these are nice and creased on our folds here. All right, let's check this one. No cracking. So far, so good. All right, there's our base. We're going to have a couple magnets here, so the front will be magnetized shut, like so. And our next step, we need to put paper here, because before we cover the outside with designer paper, we want this down, because we're using the little ring binding system thingamabobber. This is the Tim Holtz. All right, and we're going to want whatever paper we're going to have down here first. I think I'm just going to cut black and put black all over everything, and then put the designer paper on top. And then we'll put our brads through to hold this in place. We're going to glue it and put the brads, and then we'll be able to hide those brads with our designer paper on the outside. All right, so that will be like our next bit. All right, one more thing before I go further. I decided to go ahead and put the magnets on. So what I've done is on the inside front, I've put my 2 magnets. Now I'm letting them have their partners. Everybody frets over magnets. You don't have to know positive, negative. It doesn't matter. Put them on there whichever way you want. Tape them down. Then let them put their mates, you know, let them pick their mates like so. Put your glue on the back there. And then just line this up the way you want it to close. And the glue will mark where you need to put your magnets and which way they need to go. Just make sure you get the right one to the right glue spot. So this one goes to this glue spot. All right. Oop. And this one goes to this glue spot. And then you just tape them down. Make sure though, before you cover them up with designer paper, that you have tested, just to make sure that everything is correct. Just make sure you test that they're in the right spot. Okay. Tested and approved. That's where they need to go. All right, this one sticks out a little bit. Oh, okay, it's just because the tape's coming loose. All right. Let me just make sure those are, weren't glued down very good. There we go. So let me just put that one back. I should have let it dry, I guess. And make sure that one, oh, see, it moved when I was trying to pull them apart. Okay, there we go. Let everything dry, and then we'll get them covered up and life will be good. Well, I don't know what happened. It just quit on me. I hope I just got that bit I was filming. I have no idea. I just heard the camera switch off, so I don't know why. Shouldn't have been 18 minutes long. It switches off at 18 minutes. Alright, so it looks like the 3/4 bit is going to work. So I'm hoping you saw the first bit go down. Like I said, I don't know what made my camera turn off. Maybe it wasn't recording the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see when we go to edit, won't we? Alright, so just put this bit down right up next to the first little bit there. Stick it down. Alright. And then we'll go to our last bit, and again with the Fabri-Tac, like I said, I'm not really sure. That first part I thought I was recorded, so if it didn't, I'm using Fabri-Tac because I only have so much art glitter glue and I'm being thrifty. And so if it did film that, you just heard that twice. Whatever. Alright, if that other one didn't film, I feel the need to repeat here that we have score tape on either side of each of our folds just for extra adhesion where it's going to be bending. That's always an important little area. And if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. Okay. Oh, don't do that. Don't sit it down on top of tape. Oh my goodness. Here's where you learn what to do and what not to do. Alright, this is the hard part, is getting this lined up and straight. Okay, there it is. It's done now, boy. Warm it up. Adhere it down. No bubbles, no bubbles, no bubbles. It is just a teeny bit crooked because it's almost coming off. We might have to hit that with an X-Acto blade. But, you know, black is somewhat forgiving, black on black, so. Alright, now that it's all down, it's nice and stiff again in the bendy bits. So, you need to go back and find the bendy bits and just burnish there. Alright, and then work it. Work it up just a little bit, and it should be fine for you. Okay, there we go. We should have adhesion on both sides of that. Let's burnish just to ensure that. Where's the next bendy bit? Right there. Alright, so make sure we have really good adhesion. Go ahead and crease it just a little bit. Let's just go ahead and find all of them. Make sure everything is burnished down really well, especially where it's gonna bend. Crease it and bend it. And it gives you such a nice, clean, see, no lifting, no bubbling. That's why we put that extra score tape there. That's why we go back and we burnish before we do our bends. It just keeps everything lined up and smooth, and yay, yes. All right. I love things that are handcrafted. I hate stuff that looks homemade. I want it to look manufactured or have the quality of manufactured, not the quality of half-ass made it at home shit, you know? And we all know it exists. Don't pretend it doesn't. It's never anyone's goal, but sometimes it happens. But that's never what we want. Beautiful. Handcrafted, not homemade. I don't like homemade. I like handcrafted. Okay. Looking good so far, y'all think? See, I knew it. This was just not down good enough. I thought I heard that thing pulling loose. Oh, goodness. Oh, what am I doing with the Fabri-Tac? Where's my art glitter glue? Sorry, it was here. I grabbed the wrong thing. I just didn't get enough on there. Okay, right there. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. We'll get designer paper over that. We'll get it stuck down. Life will be good. Okay, next step coming right up. Alright, I'm going to be working on the frames next. So, I wanted to take these strips. These are the strips that are going to go on the back side to give us our lift and also our guide for sliding in our photos or our 4x6 cutouts or whatever is going to end up in our frames. So I am just going to paint these little 1/2 inch wide strips black. You know, you could ink the edges, whatever. I'm just going to paint them quick. And you know what? I don't even need to paint the flat side, just the edges. So I don't know why I just did that. I don't know. I thought this would be quicker than inking. But now I'm wondering if inking would have been quicker. But anyway, less messy, huh? I've got the paint out now. Just going to paint the edges. And we're going to glue these to the back of our frames, but we're going to wrap the frames first. And I just thought I would paint this so they could be drying while I was wrapping. But now I'm thinking I probably just should have inked them. Coulda, shoulda. Maybe I will. Alright, so that one is, let's see which is quicker. How long did that take? Alright, so let's try inking one and see if that's a better option. Because really, I think we just need the edges, right? It's going to be glued and glued, so we just, oop, and I just re-inked my pad there not long ago. Yeah, this is probably the better way to go. Just ink those edges, y'all. You just don't want that chipboard, that craft color showing, is what I was thinking. Shoot, you could even just hit those edges with a marker if you wanted to. But we'll ink them. Definitely think that's better than painting. Yeah, well, should probably figure that out before I turn on the camera. Too bad. I didn't. Okay, so y'all probably don't need to see all this, right? You've got the idea. Alright, I'm going to go finish inking and clean up my mess. I'll be right back. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program here. Those are inked and sitting off to the side. So now what I've done is I have cut 2 pieces of pattern paper that measure 6 inches by 8 inches, and we are going to use these to wrap our frames. Alright, so put it face down. Alright, I want the black on the outside, so I'm putting it face down. And we're just going to drop these in here and center them as best we can, just eyeballing it. I've got my score tape already put on there. I just used my 1/2 inch because these are like 5/8 of an inch wide, so that worked really well. Quick and easy, quick and easy. And, and I didn't burnish my score tape, so makes it hard to take the back off. There we go. All right, center, kind of, sort of. There's that. One down. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Face down. Score tape, backing. Oh, please. There we go. And now I've got paint and ink and whatever all over my hands. You know, I can't do anything without wearing it. So, okay, so center close enough. All right, and what I'm going to do with these edges is I'm just going to do them like when I wrap a cover. So I'm going to grab my little cheater tool and my X-Acto knife that I still haven't found the cap for. You just don't know how dangerous that is around here. Alright, so let's cut these off. And we'll just wrap them around the edges. And then we'll cut out the center. And I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do that yet. I think I'm probably just going to go in. I better use an edge, you think? Coming in about a 1/2 inch there. And just cut the center portion out. And this does not need to be anywhere near exact. You just need to leave about 1/2 inch all the way around to wrap with. Alright, so just, you can eyeball it, you can measure it, you can, whatever makes your heart happy, just do that. I'm just going to do mine that way. Okay. And you know, maybe that's big enough for me to do something with later. Who knows? Then I think I just want to do like a 45 coming out from the corner to the center there. Like so. I haven't done this before, but this seems logical to me, so. Oh, that's scary. Okay. Who knows what I'm getting myself into here. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to wrap, should I wrap the outside or the inside first? You know what? I think I should wrap the inside first and then the outside will wrap over it. Let's see. Let's see if that works. I haven't wrapped a frame before. I mean, it seems like such a simple thing, but when you haven't done it before, sometimes you got to think about it. Alright, so we'll do the inside. Nice crease. And then bring the outside over. See if I like that. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I like that. Alright, so I'm gonna do, I should have done all the inside first, but I just wanted to test it and see if I liked the way that did. Because your outside flap, you know, is bigger than your inside flap, and so I thought maybe we ought to put the little one in first. And it seems to do okay. There. So let's just do that all the way around. We're going to do the inside all the way around. And then we'll go back and we'll do the outside all the way around. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Because it's going to be glued down. But we just need those edges done. Now I suppose you could have saved paper and you could have inked the edges and you could have put paper strips on it. However, I wanted, and it doesn't really matter, but I wanted my pattern consistent. I wanted the whole thing cut out of one piece of paper. It is a little bit more, I'm not going to say wasteful, because in my opinion it's not a waste, but some people may find it to be a waste of paper. If you find it to be a waste of paper, then by all means, or if you're running low on paper, whatever, of course you can always just do what I said and ink the edges and then put your strips down. It would work just fine. But this way, see, your papers all line up and they match and it's all cut from one, there's just a continuity there where it all matches up. And now let's go around and finish the outside and we will be done. I'm wondering if I should have used tape. Let's do tape on two sides and see which we like better. Well, I'll go ahead and finish the glue on this one. But I am going to get me some score tape and put on the other two sides. See if I like it better. Tuck our corner in. Don't forget the tip. It's important. I'll just roll that right on up there. And it doesn't matter that these little areas are bare. Doesn't matter a bit because that's all going to be glued down to our front and back cover. We do just want those tips to be covered though, so we don't have a little chipboard peeking out. Okay. Let's try tape over here and see if I like it better. It just grabs on the corner when you wrap it better, I think. I like the way that tape laying right up next to it makes it grab when you roll it. So, are y'all having fun yet? This is going to be, I'm hoping, such an easy little project that you can do in an afternoon. And I think it's going to be really stinking cute. The pages are going to be super simple. I'm going to keep mine pretty low profile, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of embellishment. I tried to design it in such a way that if you do want to embellish it, you have some room. You know, the way the base is nice and wide, if those pages are embellished, they can hang out and it won't cause any issues. So you should be able to do lots of pages if you'd like, with low embellishment, or you can do just a few pages and embellish more. It's totally up to you. I like to leave wiggle room for everybody's different personality. When I design something, I try not to make it too, you know, rigid. This is how it's got to be. Because we're all different. And we all need to do our own thing, and it needs to be our project when we're all said and done. I mean, you know, it's great if you want to follow something just exactly the way I had it. That's very flattering that you love my design. But I think it's all about taking something and making it your own. I use other people's designs all the time, but I always got to sunny it up a little bit, you know. I always got to have some little something different. Alright, a design, somebody else's design can be the whole deal. If you just love it and you want it just like that, so Lord knows none of your friends or family will ever know that somebody else made one just like that. But if you want to just use it for a springboard for ideas and run with it, that's awesome too. Doesn't matter. Art is art. Alright, so here we go. And this is the top, this is the bottom. Let's start with our short bits. Okay. I'm just going to glue those down like so. Ooh, do I want score tape or do I want glue? I think on this I really want glue. Paper to paper, glue, I don't know, I just want glue. Don't ask me why, I just feel like glue's the way to go. Alright, so I want that flush with the ends. And I'm not going quite flush here. I'm kind of doing it in the middle. I just need to make sure that there's a lip to sit my photo or my cut apart on. Alright, get that down. And then put the two side pieces on. And pretty much same thing with those. Kind of want them, just leave room. Alright, and then that's, boom, frame done. We're keeping this, and wait till you see the page design. So simple, so simple, so simple. No sense in making things more complicated than they need to be. You can fancy it things up with the embellishment. There's not going to be a whole lot of interaction. These are just flip pages. Alright, so you can just, well now, you know, if you want to add some pockets, add some flat, that's all you. But what I wanted was something simple that you could have standing up with your pictures, like on a bookshelf or on a what do I want to say? A mantle, you know what I mean? If anybody, you know, if you have a mantle, I think this would be a cute thing to sit on a mantle. But I didn't want a big fancy album, I wanted a flip through. You know, you can just, the photos are all, you can just flip through and just pretty much just see photos. This is more of a functional, I mean, it is decorative, it is a little artistic, but not like some of the albums, you know? This is a mantle flip album or flip book as opposed to a coffee table album. Alright, so that's all there is to our frames. I'm going to make my other one just the same. You can cut your pattern paper for the front and back covers. And I'm cutting mine at 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, right? I'm pretty sure that's what because if I remember, my magnets, I got all kinds of metal sticking to my magnet. Yeah, because these are 6 by 8, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, these are 6 by 8. So I want 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. I am going with these beautiful greens. I think I want this to be my front and this to be my back. And then we'll have the black sitting on them. I'm doing both of my frames the same in the black. You don't have to by any means. Not by any means at all. And I like that. It's nice and solid. The top, everything, it should slip down in just fine. Have plenty of room. Give it some depth. Oh, I like it. All right. Let me go cut some papers and we'll just pop out some covers. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and cover that other frame. And then I'll come back and we'll go from there. All right. Let's go ahead and cover our front and back covers. Cover the covers. Alright, make sure you got your papers going the right direction now. Your front cover is the one that doesn't have a flap. Alright. Let's just put these down and see how it looks. You know, you can't mess up with these papers. These are just gorgeous. I love this nature sketchbook. Of course, I'm a huge Graphic 45 fan anyway. But you know, not everything they make is my favorite. But my favorites are definitely my favorites. When they get something I like, boy, do they get something I like. A lot of it's a little too frilly for my taste. But then they come up with some stuff that's just not frilly at all. And I love, love, love the layers and layers and layers that they put into their pattern paper. Just gorgeous. All right. And of course they do that on the collections that aren't my favorites too, but you know. All right, and then looky there. There's going to be our frame. So this is a nice piece to just have sitting on your mantle or bookshelf. I think it's going to be a very nice, you know, it's just like a frame, only bingo, or bonus rather. Then you've got all your photos inside as well. And I'm searching through here. I wanted to, I'll do it later. All right, so then the back side, make sure you know where your top is. And see there, nobody's ever even going to notice where those piecings are because the only tiny, tiny little seams showing on that outside border. And all the lines get covered up with your pattern paper, all as well. Now don't cover your top part yet because we have to get that hardware attached on the inside. And then we'll use the pattern paper and then our embellishments or whatever to cover, you know, the brads. We're going to have brads sticking through up there. So don't get too carried away with your outside design here and get that covered before we have our hardware. I got a little too much glue in that corner right there. All right. All right, there we have that. There's our back cover and our front cover, and then we've got our frames to go on. And before I attach them, I just wanted to grab a 4x6 cut apart, whatever. Make sure everything's going to slide in just right before I get them permanently adhered. Oh, I just think that's so stinking pretty. Looky, looky, looky. All right, and I think I want that one on the front because it's got a little butterfly wing. It's just a little bit dressier. I think I want it on the front. And I think I want this one on the back. I'm going to go cut apart a 4x6 cut apart. All right, I'll be right back. All right, just a little note here that you may want to measure this opening before you adhere these down. I got mine just a smidge. I should have taken them a little bit more towards the edge, but I still have almost a full 4 inches. I've got about 3 7/8 inches that's actually going to go down in there. Not that big of a deal, but if that matters to you, you may just want to measure that before you glue those down. So now let me decide exactly where that needs to be placed. Okay. Glue or tape, ladies and gentlemen. Glue or tape. Glue. Glue, glue, glue. Made the decision finally. Okay. Alright, get a decent coating of glue on there. Get the corners. Alright. Wait till you see this. Okay. Make sure it's centered. Or do your best. Okay. Straight and centered. It's the goal. Push down, push down, push down. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Ooh, and if you wanted to be really fancy, you could have put a plastic or something in there as well. You know, what do I want to say? Anyway, you could have put a cover in there to protect the photos even more. And then your photo, your 4x6 photo, slide in just like that. And you can even just use these 4x6 cut aparts. It's so pretty. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and take it out while that dries, just in case there's any glue squished. You know, I don't want it to get stuck in the glue. And then we shall do the same thing for the back side. Let's make sure this is gonna, oh yeah, just about the same. That's good. All right, make sure we've got everything right side round. All right. And that one is going to be gorgeous sitting on top of that green. This paper is just amazing. You know, and if you wanted a little more color, there's some of those papers that are much more colorful. You know, you could put the green like on top of one of the florally backgrounds. You can just do anything you want. The collection is amazing. I went with a little, you know, I like the green. I think it's pretty. I like the ferns and the flowers, and, you know, I didn't get real wild with it. It could have been a lot more colorful. And I'm going to go ahead and embellish probably some chipboard pieces or whatever on my frame. I'm going to, you know, keep going with it a little bit. It's not done yet, but just the general idea of it sitting somewhere, showing off. And what I was actually thinking, I have 3 kids, but only 2 of them have kids and families so far. So I was thinking it'd be really cute to have one of the girls' family picture here and one of the girls' family picture on the other side. And then we could have all 6 grandkids, you know? Something like that. Or there's a lot you could do. There's a lot of different ways you can go. But that's what we've got so far. And now I think I'm going to cover the inside so that I can attach my little ring system thingy right there. So I need to pick out my papers for the inside, and that'll be the next part, and then we'll do the page assembly. And I'm telling you, the pages are just so stinking easy. I think you'll like it. I hope you'll like it. All right, let's get going here. All right, so I have cut my papers and inked the edges with black soot and attached them to the inside. All right, just a couple of things to think about. You will be able to see them somewhat when it's standing up. Okay, you do get a little bit of a side view. So I did try and coordinate somewhat this back one to the front and vice versa. Okay. The other thing you may want to consider is when you open it up, this one will actually, they'll both have directions. So you may want to use a paper that's not directional. This one is slightly directional, but it's so busy I don't think you would notice that it's upside down from a side view. Just don't think it's obvious. So just something to keep in mind. So I've got everything attached now. The measurements for these two are the same as the front, and that's 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. This piece right here is 1 3/4, again by 5 3/4. Now, I am going to grab my E6000 for putting down my metal, if I can find it. All right, there it is. And I'm also going to line everything up and poke some holes. So let me grab my pokey tool and let me grab this and center it and mark it. Let me grab a pencil and mark the holes. Mark the holes. Okay. I have 2 little brads. Ooh, and they're slightly different. Maybe I should get 2 that match, huh? I have so many. I've thrown them all together. Sometimes I don't. I put the silver together not realizing that there's actually different types of silver. All right, those actually look best. All right, get that out of the way. All right, I've got my circles to put for my pokey holes. So let's go ahead and just do that. Now you can use a hole punch for this, of course, but I kind of like mine to be tight. So I just use the pokey tool, and if it needs to be bigger, I kind of wiggle it around a little bit, but yeah, let's go with that. Alright, so those are ready. Let's make sure that our brads will fit through before we, yeah, we're good. Alright, so now grab the E6000 and just go to town here. Now, I've been told that the art glitter glue will also hold metals. I haven't tried it. It's not that I don't believe it, it's just that I know this is going to have weight, and I'm just going to go with something I know is going to hold some metal. And, you know, I don't mean to sell the art glitter glue short or anything, but this is just my comfort zone, so I'm just going with it, Only thing is you got to, number one, it stinks. It takes forever to dry. It keeps coming even when you're done. That's all right. That's what I want to use. All right, just center it over my holes, and I'm totally okay with the fact that it's squishing into the glue, squishing into my holes, because that's just going to hold my brads even better. So let's get those in there, and that one in there. Get it straight. There we go. And then we can put these in, and then we'll let this sit and dry while we work on pages. And there we go. Get that in there as tight as I can, and just stick it down really, really well. And I like the way that the striped paper I picked out. I just cut the bottom off of this page. I like that the mushrooms tie in with this, and the bright color that came out pretty good. Accidentally did something that I like. Alright, so there's that. Push it down, get those brads in there really well. Ugh. And where are my go-to? Y'all know my go-to. I like clothespins. If they'll reach in there. Alright, there's my clothespins. Set that off to the side to dry. Now we're going to, I'm going to show you this page. Like I said, the page is super, super simple. Here's a finished one. I'm going to cut one with you to show you. Alright, and the measurements of this guy are 10 by 7.5. Let me confirm that, because I do have the worst memory on the planet. Alright, 10, 7.5. Alright, so let's cut one of those, and I'll show you how to score it and prep it there. Alright, so let's go with 10. And let's go with our 7.5 first. Get rid of the bulk. Alright, 7.5. And 10. Alright, now, it usually doesn't matter which side you score first, but in this case, for me it mattered. I want you to score on the long end, on the 10-inch side, first. Alright, and I want you to score it at 5. We're just scoring it in the middle. Now, there's a reason. Now, when you turn it to do your other scores, and now we're on the 7.5, I want you to score at 7 all the way top to bottom. But over here where you score a half, I just want you to go to that center score mark. Okay? You feel me? Alright, so 7.5 all the way, half down to center. You can make as many of these pages as you want. You can make as few of these pages as you want. This is the part that, you know, you gets to be you. So on both of these, I want you to cut into the score line on both sides. At the halfway point, cut into the score line, okay? Now on the one where you have the line that goes all the way to the bottom, I want you to cut away the one that does not have a buddy, okay? See what I mean? Like, just cut the one that's all by himself here. And just get rid of that. We do not need this little 1/2 inch strip right here. We do not need it. Oh, good grief. I wanted that to fold down. There. We do not need this at all. And you can use your paper trimmer to do this if you'd rather. All right, so once you do that, here's how it looks. And you've cut these up to the center, and now I want you to just go ahead and take a little wedge out. And I didn't cut mine all the way in. Don't want to tear it. There we go. All right, so these flappy doos are going to form your pocket page. All right. This little extra 1/2 inch up at the top is going to be where you poke your holes. Well, punch your holes. And that's what's going to attach to your ring system, all right? So then you can go ahead and fold your flaps in. So we are having pocket pages, but we're having like the simplest pocket pages in the history of the world. And then you just fold the whole piece over. Burnish, burnish, burnish. That is your pocket page. Now what I did to measure, I'm going to use this one as a template now, but the way I measured this, and I've already glued mine down now and I don't have another one to show you, but what I did was I took my binding system piece, this hardware piece, and I sat it on here. I centered it from side to side, and then I just marked where the two rings were. If you measure them center to center, they are, well, it doesn't come out even. From long end to long end, yeah, they're about 3 1/4. About 3 1/4 inches. It's easiest to just set it down there. And there was just a smidgen on each side, so I centered it this way, and then I just marked where the little rings were. And it came out fine. I tested it and it worked. So there we go. Let that dry. All right, probably overnight. That E6000 is something. But now that I have one done, for one thing, I set my depth with this little gadget right here, so I know how far in it goes. And then what I'll do is I will put this right on top of that, center it, make sure it's straight, and then I'll just mark where the holes go. All right. Got my depth already set. So I just take this guy. And this is I don't know, it sets the brads. I don't know what it's called. It's the one that sets those little ring thingies in there, you know? Which is what I'm gonna do. Wait a minute, I gotta make sure I have the right side. This side. The bigger hole's what I'm using. And I can't see that very well. There it is. Alright, that one goes there. I can't see it. Oh, that's because the black thing's there, dummy. Okay. Goodness gracious. Alright, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to put the little metal things on there. But seriously, is that the simplest page you've ever seen? And then all you have to do is put your tape or your glue or whatever you're using on the two flaps. Okay, that flap and this flap You're going to have a pull out that comes to the side. You're just going to fold this over. Like so. And voila. You have I should have folded that the other direction. Here's why. Because you want the pull out, well, I guess it doesn't matter which side your pull out's on, but I wanted this to be in the back. You know what I mean? Like I wanted my front page to be the solid page. So I actually folded this the wrong direction because I wasn't thinking. I should have folded it the other way, but it really doesn't matter that much. And then we're going to cut, of course, some mats that will pull out, and we'll do little tabs, I believe. And that's your pocket page. And what I'm thinking is even get the corners, the photo corners, and just do photo corners. If you do them really low profile and simple like this, you can get a bunch in there. And so you can put big pictures. You got a 4x6 here, a 4x6 here, and a 4x6 on the pull out. And if you do a little bit of embellishment, you could put probably a dozen pages in there. That'd be 36 pictures right there. If you want to embellish them heavily, do that too. You know, let's see if I can mess with, I don't want to mess with it too much with the glue wet, but let's see. That one's not attached yet, so let's just do this. Okay. And do this. Looky there, and they clear. They just clear enough to have that swinging room right there. And you can see how you could get a bunch in there. And if you embellish and they get wide, so just how stinking easy is that? I just think it's a very simple project. This is not a fancy schmancy family heirloom kind of deal, but I do think it's just pretty stinking cute. So now of course you could also on these pages, if you would prefer, you could put a little pocket, and you could have a pocket here and your pull out. Or you can just do photo corners and fit a whole bunch of pages with just a big 4x6 front and back, and you'll be able to just flip through your album just like so. Just boom, boom, boom. Right? Like just have, how many could you have? You could just have so many. You could just have so many in here. And then I think what I'm going to do is put photo corners and maybe some chipboard pieces and embellishment on this one, and the same on the back. Now you could go with the frames again. I believe you've got the room to go with the frames again. Personally, for me, it's almost a waste of materials. You know what I mean? I'd rather just put the photo corners and some embellishment. But you could make pockets here. No, you wouldn't want to make pockets on the front one because it's going to be upside down. You could do a pocket on the back one if you wanted. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and play with this, make me some more pages, and go ahead and decorate a couple of them to show you. But for the most part, this is it. It was really just that simple. Of course, we're going to put some designer paper here, pattern paper, whatever. We're going to put some down here. We're going to put some here. We're going to do it up. But this is pretty much the whole thing. It goes together nice and quick and easy. It sits wherever you want it to sit. You could even put a handle here. You could put a pretty metal handle or a leather handle even. You could put this three-dimensional. You know, you can put your paper down and then build up on it and make something real pretty up here. You could be all fancy schmancy up here with some butterflies and a dragonfly. You know, you can go, woo, you can go as far as you want with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up some pages and some pull outs and just give you a, you know, general idea. Hopefully your wheels are just a spinning already and you're coming up with your own designs. Hope you love it. Ciao. Well, no, I'll be back. I'll be back with some more finished up. I shouldn't have said ciao so soon. That's my sign off, so disregard. I'll be back. Alright, so here's where we are now. Alright, let's get things kind of in the frame here. Whatever. Okay, so I glued my pages together and I put in my little ring thingies. I cut my, now I don't know where I put them. These aren't them, these are my scraps. I cut, there we go. I've got 6 pages and 6 inserts so far. And my friend Bradley found the Stampin' Up! Punch for the whale tail that's been discontinued, and he gave it to me, and I'm so excited. Now I can make my own whale tail tab doohickey thingamabobs. So what I've done is I've made one for every page, and now I cut mine 6 1/4 by 4 1/2, just because I had 4 1/2 inch wide scraps left. You could really go 4 3/4, but I went with what I had. And I tried to stagger my tails, my whale tails, my tabs, whatever, to where they would line up and get all 6. They're not perfect, but I think they're going to do. So that's the next step. Now we're going to have to decorate them, of course. Have to decorate all our pages. I'm going to be putting wallpaper down, and I'm going to put wallpaper front and back on my tags because I used that lightweight paper. So just push those in a little bit. That's what I've got going on so far. Bent that one a little bit. Alright. I think that's going to be cute. They're all going to go in. There we go. Okay. So then decorating is next. Look how cute, how cute, how cute. And you can even like take them out and pass them around if you have a party. I don't know. But you can add more. I kind of like the ring. You could change them up even. I don't know. You could do whatever you want to do. Possibilities are endless, as they say. Okay. Oh, I think I put them in backwards. Where's the front and where's the back? I wasn't even paying attention, was I? Did I put them in backwards? I sure did. Put every stinking one of them in there backwards. Did you see me do that? Let's try again. Oh, I know. This is thrilling. Aren't you so glad I have the camera on for this part? You lucky, lucky folks, you. These are actually a little bit too thick, these grommets that I had. I think they're called grommets. What are those ring thingies called? I don't know what they're called. Ring thingies. Okay. There we go. That's it. Plenty of room for more, by the way. See, 6 doesn't come close to filling it up. You could do a good 10, maybe even more. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure my tabs didn't stick out too far. Looks like they're fine. All right. Time to decorate. All right, here we are. We have it done for the most part. There's still a couple pages that need to be decorated, a couple little things to do, but I wanted to go ahead and get the tutorial out. So I just thought I would go ahead and show you what I've got here. I found a metal filigree in my stash, and I put it on the top here with a little knob, and I think this is a Tim Holtz, I'm not sure. These are actually die cuts out of foil, but they look like metal. So I have those also on the frame. This little piece right here, I hope you can see that. Okay. That was actually a keychain that I had been given in a training class. So anyway, that went on there with a black flower and a couple of metal flowers that I had. The back, super simple. I just put the die cuts. And I would tell you which die cut that was, except that I actually had borrowed it from a friend and I had cut a bunch of them. I had 6 left. So I used the last 6 ones to finish this up. So there's that. When you open it up, I have not completed the inside covers yet. But like I said, I just wanted to give you an idea as to what I've got going on. I've just added like a sticker on cardstock and then one of the cut aparts on some cardstock there. You can mat your, and I think I'll probably do both sides. Haven't decided. This one is actually a little pocket guy there. And I'll probably put that on cardstock and tuck it in. And then that'll go in there like so. On the back side, I've kept these really simple. Just super simple, just little tuck spots so that you can put a picture on every page and then possibly one more, you know, a smaller one on the mat. Probably going to go ahead and pop this one up on some cardstock as well. Used a chipboard piece here. Really, really basic stuff. On this one, I took a piece of cardstock, put a piece of the seam binding over it, put it through one of the pieces that was in the pockets and tags, and then put one of the chipboard buttons on there with a couple of brads. Super, super simple. I haven't finished this page, On this one, I cut this off one of the pages, the one that had like all the strips, you know? And then I drew the little thing and put the bumblebee up there just to make it look like he'd been flying around. So, very basic tuck spots. There you go. Tuck spot, tuck spot. I haven't done these two, but pretty much that is it. That is our, all right, let me get the camera and do a better shot of that for you. I apologize in advance for this movement here. There we go. So that is our Easel flip album. As you can see, you can get plenty more pages in there. All right, there we go. And of course, this is a frame as well. So there we go. Hope you had fun. And as always, please share if you decide to make one of your own. Can't wait to see them. And thanks for joining us. Get all your supplies over there at Country Craft Creations with Tammy and the girls. We'll be happy to hook you up. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now. Bye. I can't turn it off. Oh no. Okay, there.